Miller is my guest today. We're talking about the www People's Trust 1776.org. That's a Silverlight player. Is there any reason you structured it that way?
On the website?
Yeah.
That was a construction tool, and it's being switched over now. I think it may have even been done yesterday. The HTML. We use that as a construction tool because when we served the papers in Southern California, we were asked to meet with the immediate people for Occupy. And we recognized that there was no focus there. On the 13th, on Saturday, I watched between 50 and 100,000 people in the streets of LA. And of the 20,000 signs that were there, I did not see one sign that dealt with any solutions whatsoever. What I saw was everyone complaining, and quite rightly so, about corruption. And we presented to the Occupy people, and the people in LA have accepted this as of yesterday as a major statement for themselves. And I'll read it right now. It's called, the title of the document is called The Pledge, Doing the Right Thing Now. And I signed one of these at that time, and it's published on our website. I, Charles C. Moore, standing in my own power, expressing my free will, do hereby pledge my full intent to support into existence these principles. 1. I own myself, which is now recognized before the entire world. 2. I own my own labor of any kind, now recognized before the entire world. 3. My property right to myself and my labor is now perfected and secured before the whole world. 4. I do not consent to my personal properties being used for the purposes of war or warlike behavior in any form or forum, be they physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. 5. I recognize that money systems operating on our earth affect all of humanity. 6. I recognize that all money systems are merely illusion to manage human labor as property. 7. I recognize that a money system based on integrity, responsibility, and transparency, when based upon public money owned by the one people of America, is the single solution that begins clearing up the majority of humankind's suffering. Therefore, I pledge myself and all of my powers to support the restructuring of the world's money system in order to create harmony in myself, in humanity, and for our earth. Done this whatever day of October 2011 by my will, through my hand, joined with others of like intent to do the right thing now. Now, I'm given to believe that Occupy LA is going to issue this as a statement available for anyone associated with Occupy at any time. And after we had our discussions on that, we understood something that's much deeper, that the public employees that have assisted us in putting these concepts together in the documents themselves and have provided us intelligence from inside of the world, intelligence communities, and the banking system, have placed themselves at risk. They've done so to provide us information at great risk to themselves because the system is not friendly to those that do not cooperate with it completely, particularly when you're an employee. And we recognized that we needed to create a safe harbor for individuals inside the system that were willing to step out and assist in cleaning up this mess and creating a solution. So we issued the following statement that anyone can use. We, Heather Ann Giraffe and Charles C. Miller, speaking for the People's Public Trust 1776, in a capacity as trustees to and for the formerly abandoned Union of States 1776, capital T, the United States of America 1781, duly recognized before the entire world, do hereby and herewith and hereto accept, 1. That public officers, employees, agents, or assigns have operated prior under the deceptive, threatening, and dangerous administration of government service provider corporate entities. 2. That one people prior have allowed corrupt practices by a few public employees or agents or officers or assigns to usurp our form of government constructed as granted by the one people beginning 1776. And 3, that mistakes on the part of any American of the one people is merely a lesson to be learned from and of. 4, that any public officer, employee, agent, assigned, or those acting in any capacity for the current corrupt government service provider, corporations, may honorably return to the lawful, legitimate, de jure service to the one people under the law of our constitutions. 5, personal, political, and commercial redemption is open to any American choosing to do the right thing now, by and through the execution of the pledge, doing the right thing now, placing same on a public record. 6, all public officers, agents, employees, or assigns are then from date of posting protected completely for their good and honorable service. Prior acts and omissions will not be judged in any manner as facts, acts, or omissions are passed, and will not be allowed to draw down the one people's future for compromising the integrity, responsibility, or transparency now operating as government under trust. We provided a safe harbor for all the public employees to be able to come forward and do the right thing. And the only one that can offer them that safe harbor is the political body itself. Since the political body was abandoned, the original public trust, and the trustees are the only ones that we're aware of that have stepped in and pledged their political will to preserve the trust, then that statement's good before all the world, isn't it?
Yes. But again, we get back to the concept of slavery. They enacted all of the slavery. I mean, it's been step by step over the last, at least the last 100 years, probably the last 10,000 years, and they are going to come after you. They've come after me. They're going to come after. I always call myself the canary in the coal mine, because you know, I'm speaking out now. I'm trying to get this information out now, and the information that you've researched so well, and I know they're going to come after me. So this is what they're doing with the Oath Keepers, with the veterans, with the Tea Parties, and with Occupy. So what they've done to me and you, they're going in and doing that right now to these people that are speaking up. When they're identified, when they're spotted, you know, I'm sure that any of the leaders are being photographed and digitized, and you know, they'll start looking into their bank accounts and love.
You know, Clay, that's all true. However, here's the issue for me. I do not know how to live bent over, and I'm not going to do it. Period. I can't do that. I can't do that and live with myself.
I agree with that.
Neither can you. Okay,
I can't do that.
My question to every American is this: what are you willing to pay for your own freedom and the freedom of your children? What are you willing to pay for their liberty, the liberty of your children? If you're not willing to pay for something, you can't have it. We didn't get the opportunity to have this place to stand in an easy manner. There was a war over it. A lot of people died. There's been a battle going on since the beginning of this country for the same issues. Either the people are in control of the agents they created or they're not. And all it takes is 1% of the people on the streets, and it'll change, because the only thing that this world system fears is the people being organized. We've agreed to release a mechanism, a legal, political, and commercial mechanism into the world system in the very short order within the next week, that in one page takes all the power away from the bank. It bars them absolutely in their own system from using our value that's held by the banks for any purposes other than being custodians for our value. And that affects the overnight trades. It affects the banks loaning your money, if they ever did that, which they didn't, or using your money in any ways that says that you don't agree to. That means it includes taxes. It includes supporting war in foreign countries where there's no purpose for the war. It includes supporting the banks. They can't use our money if we own it as property. There's a mechanism to do that with one page. There's a registry system that's known worldwide that secures your assets as your personal property and puts the bank in the position of a straight-up thief and slaver that gets the whole world system. We're willing to release that now. And when we made this announcement through some conversations on Sunday, we began to see yesterday a whole lot of people scrambling to protect their assets. You watch the international bank situation very carefully. They've all admitted that they're now in a different position as of yesterday. They're broke. And it's because of this concept that they don't own the value they're administering. They don't own our labor, no matter how it's denominated, whether it's a euro or a U.S. dollar, it doesn't matter. It's still based on our labor. So if we own our labor and we take the gift away from them, they have nothing. It's the same thing with the political body. I don't know anyone that trusts a politician. I don't know anyone that trusts a banker. I know very few people that trust a judge or an attorney. If you don't trust someone, they have no value in your life. Turn your back on them and walk away and do the right thing. Go back to where it really works. We have all the foundation and the political documents that say the political body we the people have created is superior. I choose to live there. No matter what they say, what they do, I'm not going to back out. Period. In the story. We have a unique relationship in the public trust, the individuals that are involved. Any one of them can speak for me and bind me completely to the point of death. I'll take a bullet for them. They don't know that. I have their pledge of the same thing.
These documents that you filed with the state, with the governor, with the attorney general, you said they didn't even want to accept it. Is this having, this documents that you filed, is this having an effect that the mainstream will even recognize or acknowledge, or the thieves are still in control? The corporations that surround them are defending them, and they've got the police to protect them. You know, my thoughts were that if we got behind the sheriff, if everybody in the county exercised these documents, took them to the sheriff and said, look, sheriff, you know, you're working for the people, we're the people, this is for the good of the people, this ain't for the good of the bankers, and we want our county cleared of these federal thugs. You might have the force, the force or the muscle or the arms on your side to oppose the criminals that are in power now, and I'm talking about your politicians out there too.
Yeah, well, let's look at it in real simple context of how this would work. What would happen if all of the Occupy movements on Saturday, every one of the individuals there had 10 of these pledges and acceptances that they'd already signed, and they began to hand them out in blank form, the pledge with their signed acceptance that they give these guys, the police on the other side of the barrier, at Pacific Harbor, and they started handing them out to the police. What would happen if the sheriffs themselves in the local counties, there's a group of sheriffs in Northern California, there's a group in Arizona that I'm aware of, and others around the country. Of the 3,500 or 4,000 counties in the country, there's probably 300 to 500 that have already made these pledges. What happens if the sheriff began handing these out as well? And
well,
everybody in his constituency knew that he had done so.
Sheriff,
what kind of effect does that have?
Sheriff Richard Mack is right now putting together a convention of sheriffs. He's raising money right now to bring together a convention in Oklahoma of sheriffs. Probably on 11/11, I think he's speaking at an event down there in Oklahoma on Veterans Day. And he's trying to put these sheriffs together. I will get him copies of these things. Actually, I need you to send me an email of these documents that you won't pass at the Occupy. We'll put them up on the website, on the Free American website, and everybody can download them. Everybody can print them out, and we can see how viral we can make it. You know,
what happens the veterans alone that will be standing in front of the Occupy people this weekend protecting the people like they promised? What if they're all handing out these pledges to the police? Here's the bottom line. That guy in the blue uniform with the nightstick, or the one that injured the vet in Oakland, when they take off their uniform and they go home, they're in the same boat we are. They're Americans too. Their jobs are being taken away just like ours were. We have common ground. The problem is no one wants to step out of their own personal problems and find a common ground. In our estimation, there is only one common ground, and it's the bank. Because when you take the money system and clean it up, you've already solved 80 or 90% of the corruption worldwide, haven't you?
Yes. You know, the banks...
So we've already designed a whole new money structure, and we presented it to the owners of the world money system, the Rothschilds. The exchequer who runs all of the attorneys, the bar attorneys around the world in Great Britain. We presented it to the World Court, both civil and criminal. We presented it to the Bank of International Settlements, the insurance company for all the world banks, and to the International Chamber of Commerce, which sets out all the forms for all bank transfers worldwide. They already know we've done this. They've agreed tacitly through backdoor communications that we're the only ones that have presented any situation that has a probability or even a possibility of working.
Well,
we need banks.
People have suggested that there is absolutely no reason for us to be paying interest on our money. Why doesn't the government just issue it as prescribed under the Constitution? And that's supposed to be controlled by the people. If it was done that way, it would be controlled by the people rather than the bankers. Is that accurate? Is that a hope?
Well, a gold and silver system for exclusively the only funds available for money won't work. And the reason is that you do not have enough gold or silver on the planet to back the value that's required to operate the system. Now, what's happened is the gold and silver that is available has been fractionalized. In other words, 0.1% of an ounce of gold backs $1,000. Well, there's no value in that system, is there? That's what deflation and inflation are all about. The manipulation of a value system. The real core issue is simply this. When you can have an open, honest, transparent money system based on the management of labor as the true value, and you, Clay Douglas, can be found to be valuable to our society, and the public money system will ensure that you can receive a loan based on your future value to our system, in other words, a mortgage or a car loan or whatever, that you're going to provide back into the system enough to pay for that. Is that a system that you would participate in? Because it's interest-free to you. You own the system. You own the money. You don't pay yourself interest. However, if it's a commercial entity like a bank or a corporation or a government, they have to pay interest to the people to borrow our value. What a concept. Now we have a management system for money that actually works. And this could not have been possible before the electronic age, in particular the web and all the software that operates all of these systems. Now we have the ability to track every bit of labor worldwide through the electronic form. And it's not even that difficult. The software has already been written. The world system, the way that it operates now, is the most beautiful system ever designed by humankind. Because every bit of value that goes into the system is tracked completely. And if the current operators are stealing from that system, that's where the corruption lies. So the simple fact is clean out the corruption, and let's see how magnificent that system can be when we, the people, own the value. We have nothing to lose by doing this at this point, do we? We have no future with the current system, do we?
No.
So let's get together on a single point and see if we can make this work. And if it has to change as we go down the road and learn more about these management systems, so be it. But at least we have a system that's based on integrity, based on personal responsibility and transparency. And once we accomplish that, what can happen with the human condition? All these technologies that you have on your website that you talk about can be free and open for everyone, can't they? There's no control factor available to make it interesting for someone to keep that hidden.
That's right. We could be generating all of our power out of our garages right now if they would allow the technology to be public.
Yeah, exactly. So if the public money is financing that and it has value to our society, and you have your assets pledged to the public money system to back it, does that mean you're not subject to interest? Does that mean taxes? Absolutely. How about regulation? If you don't agree
so
to
how do you staff this public money and somebody asked what's a value that has a public trust? So how do we back this? How do we implement this? Because the slave masters are in control right now. They are issuing the money that you're using to eat with. I mean, I know there's ways to... Go ahead.
In less than 2 minutes, I'll explain to you how a public money system can be funded in less than a month. If every American that owns a primary residence, a car, or anything of value pledges that to back the money system, you've just taken the punch out of it completely. If every American's home is free and clear at the moment, you're looking at between $25 and $30 trillion in value. And if we all agree that these houses have value, which they do to each individual, can they be used as an asset to back a new money system? Absolutely. The only thing, there's only one mechanism that has to go in place to make that work. Cancel the legal relationship or claim of the banks on the asset of houses. We've created the technology to do that. The Individual Resolution Society at joinirsociety.org offers that service to anyone. The documents that were created to do that were gifted to the American people. And then I set up a service company to provide these documents and the legal and political training system and proofs to back up what was said. It's available for anyone. And it applies to wide.
All right. People have told me that they're having problems with the Silverlight site. You are changing that, you said. But if you will send me an email of those documents and the links with those the organizations that you've mentioned, I'll feature them on the Free American. I have been looking for answers, and and I've had you on several different times here. I want to have you back because I believe you have got down to the root of the problem and you've got an answer to it if it can be implemented by enough people. Now, if enough people listen to this show, if enough people pass this show around, if enough people go back to freeamerican.com and pick up the documents that you've got, there's already links to your site now. There's links to this show. People you can make this go viral, people. You can make this happen. And if you're going out and marching in the Occupy movements, I'll have an article up talking to you, warning you about what's coming. You just need to know. The way I look at this, Charlie, is that we're in a war here. I accept that. I understand that. I know they're sniping at me. I know they're going to be shooting at me. I know they're going to be calling me names. And I can handle that. You can handle that. You've been there before. But people need to be educated, and they need to know that they're not alone here. I mean, this is what they've done to you and me is try to isolate us from the rest of society. And they've done that to so many people that there's a lot of us ex-cons out there that aren't supposed to be able to vote, that aren't supposed to be able to own guns, and that's bullshit, in my opinion.
Well, so you're not going to back up any more than I have, are you?
I'm not backing up at all.
Yeah, I got a question for the American people. How do you beat someone who won't give up?
You can only lose if you give up. And sorry,
That's
boys,
right.
I ain't putting that. I sleep right beside, that gun, but I ain't putting it to my head. I ain't pulling the trigger for you. And far too many of our veterans, more Vietnam vets have committed suicide in America than were killed in Vietnam. To me, that's the national tragedy here. That's what needs to change. And that's why I put the event together the way I did up on my website for the Cochise County Sheriff. Sheriff Richard Mack is putting together a sheriff's coalition, and I want to hand all the sheriffs the documents that you've just discussed. I want them in my hands. I want them on the website. I want them featured. I'm changing the website. You know, I've been doing this radio show for 20 years, folks. I've been warning you what's coming. Everything I've warned you about is happening now. Here is an answer. Here is a way we can take back control from the banksters. And, yeah, Mel was a little right in the fact that the banksters are responsible for every war. And they do that to pare the population down so you're more controllable. They're drugging you. They're brainwashing you with the TV. This show, this segment right here is the truth. This is how you can take it back. You can stop being a slave. If you work together.
I'll donate to your on your website. This is the first time I've been able to click on the link to donate. I'll do that today, Clay.
I appreciate that. And folks, you know, every dime that comes in, you know, and Charlie, you've already got copies of my book, so you're ahead of the game. I'll expect your opinion here. I've considered the possibility that I might not be as good as I think I am. You know, I've accepted that. But I can use a little confirmation.
It sounds to me like you were married at least once to understand that.
I've been married way too many times, you know, way too many. All right, Charles Miller, thank you for being on my show.
Anytime, Ty. Just give me a call. Away we go.
All right, sir.
It's a privilege and a pleasure to talk with you in front of the American people and to present solutions.
All right. Well, this will be up on Blog Talk. It'll be up on TalkShoe. It'll be up on the Free American within the hour. God bless you, and thank you for all your research, for everything that you've done.
You're welcome.
I ain't done. Don't go anywhere. let me try to get one thing else back up here, and meanwhile we'll close this out. Folks, watch the video next to us after this one.